part 15. Part 15. More coffee.
You say more coffee.
Mm-hmm. Like Garfield, he always has to have his coffee in the morning when he rolls out of bed.
Yeah. Coffee in the morning, lasagna at night.
Well, what do you expect? He was born outside of an Italian
Yeah,
restaurant.
exactly.
So.
I know, yeah.
Besides, he ate him. Besides, the U.S. Army couldn't feed him enough lasagna to keep him happy. There was an episode called 90 Night Mary. John pretty much called Garfield out and says, one of these days you're going to have a nightmare. And he just ate and ate and ate and grew and outgrew the house and ate everything in town. John called the U.S. Army and said, we need lasagna, 100 tons of it. And he just shoved it all in his mouth and he was still hungry.
Mm-hmm.
General told him, we're filling the Grand Canyon up with chicken gumbo in case he has a hankering for soup.
Man, I love it when it just starts raining at a bookstore. There was something about the bookstore.
Yeah,
and then a little bit of rain and then coffee. It's like, oh, dude. It's like, this is what it's all about.
I know. I think you've appeared on camera on these videos a couple of times, right? Like I've laid it down here on the counter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you've kind of leaned over a little bit.
Yeah, I don't even care, dude.
Yeah, you're just a voice. Yeah,
I'm like,
everybody knows your voice now. You're like me.
We pretty much have the same vibe with the voice, anyways. It's kind of loud and sharp and boom to the point.
Yeah.
My kids are always like, and the girls are always like, okay, you don't have to talk so loud. I'm right here. I know, but. Jeez, maybe I just can't hear. I want to hear louder in my own head, okay?
Yeah, it plays better in your head.
Yeah, it does.
It's like the old David Letterman sketches and stuff like that. The jokes played great on the show, but played great in rehearsal, played great on paper, and then when you get to the show it tanks and it does that. I found a couple of Johnny Carson clips though too, where the sketches just bombed so badly it was hilarious. And when the jokes bombed with Johnny Carson, he made the bombs funnier than the actual jokes. Like he did a graduation speech sketch one time where Johnny sits there at the podium dressed in his regalia, and eventually it just starts to tank. So he looks over to Doc Severinsen and the band and he goes, you don't get to play much, so too, why don't you play me a little music or something like that? And Doc goes, no, I don't think we should interrupt you in a moment like this. Johnny full well knowing the sketch is tanked. So Johnny tells Doc, play something. So Doc grabs his little trumpet and plays taps. And the audience just gets a kick out of it, though, too. And Johnny just realizes, okay, this sketch is tanked. So he goes back to his desk and he pulls the graduation gown off. And him and Ed start talking about so damn humiliating. He looked at his office and says, this looked good in theory this morning when we looked it over and stuff like that. And he says, you can't take this stuff on the road and do this. You gotta go with it as is. And Ed McMahon looked at him and goes, oh, so now you want to bomb in two places. You want to bomb here and then you want to go on the road and bomb. And the audience just started laughing because he tanked so bad. That's one thing with variety show I always never kind of worried about. I think early on when I first started, it was more trying to write jokes and monologues and stuff like that. Towards the end, I just said, I don't like writing jokes. My jokes stink anyway, so I might as well just talk to the audience. I'm not a comedian. I'm a broadcaster. Just have a good conversation with somebody.